Greg?
We are indeed. Sensei John, if you want to take it away. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. It's an honor. I'm really honored that Erickson Sensei asked me to teach this class. It's a lot. The things that I'm going to share, I'm basically just breaking down as much as we can get through Sugano Sensei's Ichi no Ken through Gono Ken forms, so that you can practice them by yourself, while giving explanations as best I can as to why these things work. But these forms, these forms inform all of my open hand technique. So Sugano Sensei was very clear saying this was not a system of attack defense. This is a movement system, and it's there to teach you primarily how to break my eye, how Hanmi protects you, and how to create an opening. All right, I'm joined here today by Angel Walker Murphy, fourth Dan Shidoan, chief instructor of the Alamo Area Aikikai, in her house. Forgive my informal wear. When I left New York on March 15th, I only packed what I could have in my car with my son, and the hakama I had down here was sacrificed for mask making. So this is what you got. So with that, let's start.
Onegaishimasu.
So I'm going to start really basically for people who are not familiar. Look, if you don't have room to swing a bokken in your house, grab a rolled up paper. Just get your hands around something. If you have the room just to move, because the footwork is really what I'm going to be working on a lot here. But first thing is how to hold a bokken, right? So it's not like a hammer or a club, it is a knife. So you'd hold it like you would any knife to cut, with your hand coming 45 degrees over the blade. So initially this is a position for both hands to have. Sorry, I got all kinds of stuff. But the hands are down, left hand at the bottom, all the way at the bottom of the weapon, right? And the hands are clamped, but not gripping tightly. If someone were to grab the weapon from the blade, they should be able to pull it out. But it should be more like a wet towel wrapped around the bokken, right? So let's just start square. Here, put the weapon in your right hand. And now just step forward with the right foot. Get into Hanmi. So in Hanmi, the weapon, our defensive position, this is our defensive position. The weapon is at our eye level, so that our head is protected. And we're at a 45-degree angle or less, but the angle is enough that anything coming on the emote side, which is the blade side, is protected. Right? Ura side is obviously open. That's why we have to change Hanmi. Right? So let's change Hanmi. Now, when I change Hanmi, the tip of the weapon, Saki, stays on the line. Right? My left hand basically stays right in front of my center. Right in front of, if I were wearing a belt, it'd be in front of the knot. Okay? Now, step forward. Knees should be soft. Back to square. I'm not going to be using a lot of jargon. Here's my technical terms. When I say slide, I mean stay in the same Hanmi and move forward. When I say step, either forward or back, I mean change Hanmi, right? The forms, they're not, Sugano Sensei didn't refer to them as uke nage. It's oshiete and manabute, oshiete being the teacher, and manabute being the student. I'm just going to say teacher and student. It's a lot easier for me to say. So let's look at the weapon for a second. The bokken, the blade is divided into three parts, right? First third is the killing section. Sugano Sensei would call it the percussion center. It would be about here. The middle part is for parrying, and this bottom part is for blocking. Can you please make that? Thank you. Thank you. So when you block during these forms, you only block during Nino Ken and also when we're testing distance and direction. When you block with the blade up. The way the weapon is designed is there's a hard steel and softer steel in the core, and that gives it resilience in this direction. If you turn it sideways, it can snap. And so if you need to block, which you shouldn't, because if you have time to block, you have time to counterattack, waste the blade, save your life. You can always sharpen it. So we Hanmi, our defensive position. Now, to go from defensive position to offensive position, I square the hip and I extend my right arm. So now my weapon is pointed at my partner's eyes. My hip is square and the arms are locked. When I'm going to raise to cut, I'm not going to lift with my right. I'm going to extend through the left. So if I'm raising up, going from defensive to offensive position, I square my hip and push with my left hand until the weapon is above me. Right? When I'm going to cut, I'm going to have the weapon lead my movement. When you raise up, your left hand disappears from view. Right? When you bring this above your head. If you need to, just to give yourself a point of reference, you can put your thumb right on your crown here. Right? Leave the right hand above the left, so this doesn't happen. This is good for saburi, potentially, but this is where you want. This is good for opening up the chest, but in all the forms, this is where you want to be, and it's quicker. Right? So when I cut, I don't move forward until I see my left hand again. So the weapon leads my movement, right? This is the way everything is going to work. The same with breaking my eye. So breaking my eye is moving from defensive position to offensive position while advancing. So if I start in defensive position and I want to break my eye, I'm squaring my hip and moving forward at the same time. So here, I square my hip and move forward, but the weapon pulls me. It's not a square move. No, I am being pulled by the weapon. Now, Angel, please, just take Hanmi. So when we do our forms, we start with a fist distance between the blades. Breaking my eye is not here. I'm not just trying to break this safe space. My intent, as Sugano Sensei said, is to be like a wild animal, right? My intent, while squaring and moving forward, is to knock her weapon to the side and impale her. So I'm coming in here, right? Right. So she is forced back. If you do this half-heartedly, when you get a chance to practice with the partner, it'll happen eventually, I've been assured, that this messes up the distance of the entire form. You really need to get in over that hand and try to get them. Right? Since there'd be a suga there, you really want to impale. So when you're breaking the eye, make it forceful. Even here today, again, I have space constraints. We had this beautiful outdoor thing set up, but Texas happened and we have thunderstorms coming. So when I break my eye, I come in. Obviously, I haven't done that. I'll be through today. Maybe later. Thank you. So let's just practice breaking my eye. So again, defensive position, right Hanmi. Square and move forward. And slide back. Square. really try to emphasize the hip square, right? Going from defensive position to offensive position. Because this is what gives it power. As you're extending down and squaring the hip, that's what's giving this power. My entire body is coming forward. My entire consciousness is facing the partner. Everything is projecting out, right? So the next step, I'm basically just trying to reiterate the way Sugano Sensei taught this stuff to us originally, because he did do, when he taught us these forms, he had us standing in lines and doing these as single person practices before he paired us up. Now, the next step in all of it would be, after breaking my eye, you test distance and direction. And it's extremely important when you get together, that the distance is right in the beginning. So here we are in a starting position. Angel's going to break my eye, and she's going to cut, test distance and direction. So I block with the weapon pointed to the left side, and her intent is to strike me with the first 8 inches of the blade and bisect me, right? So she breaks and cuts. And those of you who know Ichi no Ken will see this as the first 2 movements of Ichi no Ken. Now, as the teacher, I move back once. I'm giving her the target to hit. So here I am, I move back once, and I block. 2 hands on it. If you're strong enough, you can block with 1 hand. Generally, keep both hands on the weapon at all times. All right, so let's do breaking the eye and cutting for a little bit, and then we'll do the other side of the receiving. So the student's part first. So break my eye and cut. Break my eye, cut. Okay. Now the teacher's side. As the student comes to knock the weapon down, you drop it just to where it's parallel with the earth, right? So I drop it, and I block it. Reset. Drop it. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the entire student side of Ichi no Ken. So the student breaks my eye, and the student gets off the line at the end to finishing the form. Ichi no Ken, Nino Ken, and San no Ken are all omote. So if I get to Yan no Ken, Go no Ken, I'll explain more. But the movements, the first 4 movements are going to be the same for the student in Ichi no Ken through San no Ken. Right? So it's this, just watch. I break my eye, I cut, I slide back to defensive position, I change hanmi, stepping back. Now, I thrust without advancing. I lunge, and then come back to the hip. Then I raise up over my head, get off the line, and cut. Right? So let's do this slowly. Break my eye, cut, slide back, defensive position, step back, stay in defensive position, thrust back to the hip, over the head, offline, and cut. Eye, slide, step, making distance, up, and here. Break my eye, cut, slide, step, thrust, up, and cut. So the thrust in the middle, you're making distance between yourself and the teacher. And when Angel and I will demonstrate the form after we go through the teacher side, but this this movement, so there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm to all these forms, right? And in this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. So we're not leaving that weapon out when we do the thrust. We're not just like leaving it there in space. It's just square the hip, let it bounce back. Right? You're really just trying to drive the teacher back so that you have space to create the opening. Right? Let's do a couple more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Now, the teacher's side. This way. As a student comes to break my eye, I slide back. Then block. Cut to the head without advancing. Drop the point so it's parallel with the earth. Move forward. Then step back to defensive position. Raise up. Step in on the line and cut to the head. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I started to do student side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, now Angel and I are going to pair up and show you what this looks like together. Angel will break my eye. So she breaks. Now at this point, I'm dropping this straight down, all right? And coming in on the wrists. She changes behind me. She then thrusts at my face, I change. She raises up to make the move, the opening. I come in on the line. She gets off the line and cuts the head of my head. Notice she's not coming in. She should only have to change Hanmi. She's not changing the distance, she's only changing the direction, which gives her the advantage. Now, one of the things that the student should be working on eventually is waiting for the stripe to be coming down before she gets off the line, right? So, slow. She's not vulnerable until my front foot hits the ground. You know, there's that saying, oh, Sensei said you have to absorb 90% or 99% of Uke's energy or the attacker's energy. It's not necessarily physical power, it's the time. You know, you absorb all you can. And the other thing that's cool is that as their weapon passes in their face, you disappear. You have a resistance of vision that you can do it. So you actually disappear for like 4 or 10 seconds and you're out of the way. When someone is cutting your head and you're getting off the line of it, they should think they hit you. It's hard for people to get to that initially. They don't want to swing. Or if they do, don't trust them. Okay. So let's move on to Nino Ken. Now, Nino Ken and Nino Ken are almost exactly the same, except for the teacher's movement. The student does the same footwork, right? There's one change in Nino Ken, and that is instead of blocking, the teacher retreats one more step. But this is, I'm not getting very far out of the way. I want to be missed literally by a meter. Right? So let's do the first 2 movements. So I just want to show you the space that I want. Hopefully I'll get it right and not embarrass her. So she breaks my eye. She comes to cut. Right? This is where I want to be. Just missed. Right? So now everybody says, well, why just poke you in the head? Because the timing of me waiting here like this is because I want her to be able to lead a form. If this were a martial situation, as her weapon is coming down, let's do it again. Here, she comes to cut. I cut on top, and she is struck. It's not just because my arms are long. She can do this too. I'll break. So I break, I cut, and now she comes down and she can strike me. I don't know why it works. It's just the distance. You know, it's the length of the Bokken, and you are in range now, right? Let me backtrack 1 second because I wanted to say something about homing. When you're taking homing, don't think about pushing the weapon out to the side, right? I want you to think about wrapping around your body, like your body's upstand, and this just stays inside, right? So when I'm square, weapons on the line, as I turn my body and leave this on the line and back, this is what creates the homing. My right arm is soft. You know, left arm is almost tucked out, but it's not a stiff position out here. You should be able to hold this position for an extended period of time. Just think of those samurai moves with each other for 3 seconds. Okay? So now let's just do the work for Nino Ken on the T side. Like I said, it's basically the same. Draw back. Now up. Cut. Drop the point. Step back. Up. And in. All right. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now Angel will demonstrate what it looks like to get. It's at this time I want to point something that's really crucial in all these schools. Right? So it's in the first four movements. Right? It's after she breaks my eye, cuts here. Now she moves back a deep position. Your natural inclination is going to be smear this in one movement. Don't. You need to make these clear, distinct movements, right? So, cut to the head. Now, by bringing the point straight down, it's the most efficient way to get to her side. It's also right above her wrist. Can't raise her sword now. She has to retreat. That's what creates this. Now, she's got the advantage because she's deflecting, pushes me back to create opening. Now she's got all the time in the world to raise that up. I come in, she's off the line, and I did teach her. Okay, so we have time. I'm throwing a lot at you. Why not? Saturday morning. Not yet. So let's do the movement San no Ken. Now, when you're doing Ichi no Ken through San no Ken, inevitably, the student's going to make a mistake and thrust that face. So be aware of this. Because if the thrust the face, the teacher continues to advance and cut to the knee. So that puts you as a teacher in a very vulnerable position, especially when there's a weapon cut at your face as you're answering. But let's go through the movement. Let's start with the student. So, break my eye, cut, slide back, step back. Now, I'm going to step back again and lower my weapon, but keep it on the line so I'm still on hum. So this is protective. The idea is that the teacher's coming in to cut my knee. So what I do is step back and just guide the weapon past that point. The weapons should feel like they're magnetized. That's the way Sugano Sensei wanted this form to work. It's not quick. It's as happens, you just take it and make them feel like they're magnetized. So I have at this point exercised all three parts of the Ichi no Ken. We exercise all three parts of the weapon, right? Teacher blocks. The distance after that cut should be in the middle. We'll go stop at that point. Okay, I'm going to show the form again. So here again, student. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. I'm running out of space, but there's an extra movement back. I got in my brain. Sorry. So break my eye, cut, slide, step back. Now, in this position, I slide back again to defensive position. Here. Right? Now I raise up and off the line. Let's see what this side is. Isn't it? Okay. So off the line with the foot, let the back foot take the angle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Retreat to defensive position. Raise up, hit the house, off the line, Amimote San. So San no Ken is the biggest movement. So break my eye, cut, slide back, step back, like knee, parry, slide, raise up, get offline, and cut. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Five, 6, 7. I'll paint it. So now, the teacher's side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7. The distance is supposed to be so great that I can't just raise up each my partner. I have to throw the weapon, use that movement to reach. Right? So really, I'm going to shorten this. I don't want to hit the ceiling because that I don't want to have to pack. But I'm in left homing. I raise up. You really should clear one of the two tatami to reach how much distance. All right, so let's go back to the movement of the teacher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Right there. Okay. I'm doing it. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Couple more. And then Angela and I are going to have to compress this so we can demonstrate. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'm just going to work this together, and I want to really focus on this cut to the knee because it's the first time that we see this. It's the first time we have anything going well, right? And how you don't want to cut past the line. So when I cut to knee, I'm stepping in, but I'm leaving the weapon in front of me. So that, again, I'm protected on the rotate side of my body. Here, any pressure sideways actually gives an opening to cut. Right? So there shouldn't be pressure. There should just be an immovable force in front of you have 3 times back. So, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, break. And she cuts. And there. Now, as I step in, she steps back, and we leave the weapon in front of us. Now, we both withdraw. Defensive position. She raises up. I throw the weapon forward and cut. Yeah. So, creating the opening. When the student's creating the opening isn't when the weapon's up here. The opening is as soon as the weapon breaks the plane, we're no longer facing the teacher. That's when you can move. You'll see in Nino Ken and Gono Ken, the time that the student has to get off the line at the end compresses, and it's a part of the form. I mean, Sensei really wanted to show that no matter what the position was, you always have time off the line. You can create that open. There's not, it's not like too late to move. These forms really can teach you how long you can wait. I mean, that's really one of the things to explore to get back together is if you trust your partner and plunk it too hard, wait until you're almost, wait until you get your ear in your neck or your shoulder. Try to see how long you can, that's what really makes empty hand technique effective. When uke is committed, and then you're not, and they do them to anticipate. You can then really take them by surprise, even though you were right there. It's one of the things when I took Ukenin from Sugano Sensei was always that he's just not there. I was always trying to catch him. Iriminage, he would be behind me forever. Kaitanage, you knew your feet would come to your head. It's just whenever you came in, he was gone. And I feel confident that that's one of the things that he was trying to give us with the forms, was that ability to wait as long as you can and then just disappear, because uke can't catch up. They're already overcommitted. Even if you're not overcommitted, committing at all seems to be overcommitment, right? So, Yano Ken, right? Students of this, Yano Ken and Gono Ken are the Ura. So the teacher in the second is going to bias the cut to the head, to the Ura side, right? Which is forcing the student to change Hanmi in the second move, right? So let's just, I'll run through Yano Ken. This also has another one of those moments where the weapons are basically glued together. You know, when the student is going to make the distance, the teacher doesn't change me to avoid it, but goes from offensive position to defensive position and then back off to offensive position. So when we get there, I'll talk more about it. But here's the student's movement for Yan. Break my eye, cut, step back, extend, back to the hip, up, now off the line, rasa. So all the forms, when you end, if you're, you know you're doing it right if you end up at home. If you end up in left hanmi, something went wrong, and just backtrack, and you'll figure it out. So break my eye, cut, step back, lunge back, up, offline. So when you're in right hanmi and going to the ura side, to the left side, you're going to step it first and cut. So break my eye, cut, step, push, back to the hip, up. One, two, three, 4, 5, and 6, step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more, and on the teacher side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the teacher's side is, this is the raw version of Nino Ken basic. So teacher, slide back, up, cut, drop point, ski. Now, here, the student is to ski, hip angles, as the student draws back, hip squares, and up, and cut. It's actually going to be easier to go together. Let me just know what it is. So she breaks, cuts, here, boom, boom. So it's that moment where when she withdraws after making the distance, that is, I follow it back in with my hip to be ready to take the open that she gives. So again, that's what I meant by completing the time that the student has to get offline. Okay. So here, there. So 1, boom. All right. So let me go back to the same practice with that. Back, up, cut, ski, defensive position, offensive position, up, and cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. All right, let's continue. 1, 2, 3. Right. So the in Nino Ken, the teacher stays at home the entire time. So yeah, teacher stays at home the entire time. Okay. So. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Right. So that's Nino Ken. We'll move quickly to Nino Ken. Which has a really tricky minute. That's hard to explain. So I'll do it with Angel first, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Sure. Break my eye. Go ahead. Now again, we're side. She steps back here. Now, at this point, she's going to come in over the top and step in and stab me in the liver. I'm going to allow her to take weapon down, and I'm going to step back to this position. All right. Then, as she draws, I flip the weapon over my head. I'm already ready to cut. She's in defense. As soon as she made opening, oh yeah, you are.
This would be over there.
Yeah. Sorry. That's the least worst thing.
Oops, don't look at that.
So, yeah, step forward.
Step forward.
Right.
That's it.
So this position is you sort of put yourself in it, right? And as she withdraws, weapon flips over my head. She raises up. Okay. So position. As she takes my weapon to the side, I allow it and I just make a circle, right? And then raise as my hum changes. I keep my left hand in front of my center. Here, elbows stay down, right? I'm pressing my right arm into my forearm. That's what's giving this rating. I can release my hand slightly, but again, I want to use hanmi. I'm not pushing this offline. Stay in hanmi. It will protect you. It's the point of all of this. She's coming in for here. I allow her to take the weapon down, then put the blade in front of her, between her weapon and my body, and press to make it strong. Right? Now she, in that moment, is coming in. She's basically doing my eye with a step, right? And when you go in, when you're going to go to stab somebody, don't stab sideways. Stab with the point up. This way, if you're between some ribs and you need to get out, you can turn it. If you go in sideways, you might get caught too. So, yeah, remember. So let's start with the student. See if I can pull this off. Break my eye, cut, step back again. Now, I'm going to step forward and stab. And withdraw, up, off the line, and cut. This side. Okay, it's hard without a get to the right side sometimes. It's the teacher. You're coming in that way. Stand right on me quickly. I don't know my left from my right. It hurts. Okay, that's it. So, back. I'm sorry. Student. Reset. Okay. Break my eye. Cut. Step back again. Step forward. Thrust. Retreat. Up. Off the line. Jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. I mean, actually, that time might be different because once you withdraw, it might be and 8 because that's so much quicker, right? I'm just using the count that I was using for Ken. I haven't really counted out this one as clearly. I was doing Nino Ken for 20 years, but for the first 10 years I trained Sugano Sensei, he didn't show anything but Nino Ken. Then toward the end of his life, he showed us the rest of it in a compressed period. And so it was up to us to continue practicing. But Nino Ken, that one I'm pretty familiar with. So back to Sugano Ken and the students. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, teacher side. 1, 2, 3, 4 now. Point goes down. Weapon comes on the outside. Step back. Weapon should be elbows down, this hard, and weapon still on the line. Now raise the weapon over your head and cut. When you raise the weapon over your head in this position here, all you have to do is bring your right hand above you and regrip the sword. You should be in position to cut at that point. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Two, three. And now step the other way. Right,
Oh, I see.
right, left, up, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. All right, but now I'm going to show it again in paired, going all the way through. Change. 1, 3, 4 on the top. Step. Now draw. Raise up. That's okay. That's why we're doing it. Sure. You gonna teach yourself?
Then I can come back.
Okay. So I'm going to do the student side. Break my eye. I cut. Step back. Now, here. So, see, again, step back, knee position. But what I want to point out is, see, we're in the middle of the blades. This is the parry section of our blade. So I'm going to come right over the top. See how just by taking my hand, leaving it square, I have a clear. You can step back.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
See?
You gotta bring my
Sorry. So she lets the weapon go and turn it, go straight down there. Okay. Now, as I withdraw, she flips the weapon over her head. So she's already ready, I swear. So as I come to this position, she's coming in. Okay. So it really seems like the student should have enough time, since the teacher's already poised to strike. But you have time, because you're not changing the distance, you're getting off the line. If you stood there, more than likely you'd be struck. That'd be time to block. But get off the line gives you the time. Special weapons in front of their face, they can see. Right? All right, so those are the 5 forms. I guess time for some questions. And so I got a screen over here, I got a screen over there. Is there a way we can do questions, or do you want to see more stuff? Okay, everyone's all quiet. We'll do more stuff.
Anybody want to say a specific one? You want to ask?
Does anyone want to see specific or clarification on anything?
Sensei, this is Peter Wilson from Heaven and Earth. One of the things that I can't quite pick up on the video is on the last sword form, when student thrusts and you go into the vertical parry. What side of the blade?
Yes.
I'm confused about where the student's exposure is on that. What side of the blade are they on you, given their left foot forward? Are they being deflected off to your raw side? And they're exposed?
So if they, when they, yes, no. So this is the hard part. Because you change me, it becomes the emotive. It is on the outside of the blade. It's here.
Okay.
Their blade, when you drop, bring it up, it's their blade is between, your blade is between their blade and body. So, yeah, let's just, yeah. There. So now, so then at that point, no, just slow. At that point, when she dropped the point, she's now on the, her blade is on the outside of mine, on my ura side. So here, if I don't step back, she's got a clear path to very important for me. So as I step back, I bring this position to have it slide past. Is that at all?
That is much clearer. Thank you, Sensei.
Absolutely.
That is much.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. We don't, this is the only place I've ever seen movement, really. Well, he did have, there's, oh, I got 9 movements right now. It's on my head. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Nope, not going to do it. I have to read the, go back in the memory bank, the nine positions. There. And that's when it come up. But there, so it's. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll save that for another. But anything else? Anyone? Okay.
I have another question.
If extra miss, Sugano Sensei have a lot of exercises for cleaning the eyes, and these can only be done paired. And they're really simple if you to do when you get back. So Angel, why don't you come here a second? So when we started, all these forms are about a fist distance between the blade, right? So in the initial training of the eyes, you get in this position, and then the teacher goes back and forth, and student has to maintain the distance. Then teacher will drop sword. No, cut to head. All right, so that's really simple. They progress from there. They progress from there to where the teacher then gives either to the wrist. I'm sorry, which one should be the wrist or head. So let's do that again. So she maintains distance, and now I extend out, giving her my cut. Not just this. Thank you. You've done this.
A few minutes.
And one of the Sugano Sensei always says, always do the opening your students moving back. Right? And she wants to cut there. Now the next part would be to cut to the wrist and the head. Well, by the opening, right? So she falls here. I give an opening. Now what? The next thing will be move my body back. That's the next opening. So she comes in and she goes. And when you're doing these exercises, like when someone's giving you the wrist opening, don't hit it. Put your weapon there as if you were going to take it off. Because honestly, we're not cutting through things by blood, right? This is a knife. This is a slicing weapon. So what you would do, so the wrist is here. Fire can just so I have construction, right? So I come here, leave that. I'm not going to cut through by dropping my weight on it. I'm going to cut through by turning my hip back. So I lay it there and slice. Right? But bye now. Let's bow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Domo arigato.
Sensei, on behalf of Heaven and Earth Aikido, we really thank you for your time today and sharing those forms with us. Sensei Erickson really talked highly of your experience working with Sugano and Konigsberg Sensei, and we're grateful for your time. Thank you.
I'm really grateful to be able to do this. Thank you.
Thank you from South Australia. Will I see you tomorrow, Peter?
Yes, Sensei. I broke my finger.
Ah, okay, you've got a good excuse.
Yeah, it's a little excuse, but you know.
Okay.